Hi everyone, it's the English Simmer here, and if you've been following Sims 4 news recently, you will know that this past week we got a brand new SDX drop for The Sims 4, and basically in that SDX drop was included the Caliente refresh, and I mean, I do feel as if people were disappointed in this one, and I feel like a lot of the disappointment when it comes to these townie refreshes are the fact that a lot of us as Simmers didn't really think that it would just be about the looks. We maybe thought, oh, they'll actually finally listen to the lore that they wrote when they were creating The Sims 4, and these new Sims will have personalities attached to them. But because these townie refreshes so far of the Goths and the Calientes have focused so much on the way that Sims looks, which don't get me wrong, I feel like representing their heritage and getting their skin tones right is so important. It does feel as if Create a Sim itself is now becoming under the microscope to the Sims community. So today I thought I would sit down and basically talk about the quality of life features, updates, things that I would like to see in Create a Sim that would make my life as a person who spends a lot of their time in Create a Sim a lot easier. There is absolutely no beating around the bush when it comes to this, but base game hairstyles are lacking. We realized this when it came to the townie refreshes. They've actually put the new hairstyle on Bella Goth, and this texture looks very up to date. I absolutely love it. And they've actually gone back and like retextured a bunch of hairstyles recently. They've added new hairstyles, and obviously the newer ones feel so much better. So I've seen a lot of people actually asking, instead of getting townie refreshes, instead of putting the team's time and work into this when a lot of players make their own townie versions, can we please instead take that and focus it onto actually making base game look better, especially when it comes to the hairstyles. I'm trying to find an old school hair. This is actually one of the better ones, and I don't really like showing these off when it comes to like black hair because you can't really see the detailing all that much, but they're not great. They look super clayified. They just aren't up to scratch with the way that hairstyles are looking in The Sims 4 right now. From this to this, how is that the same game? Like, I know things are obviously gonna visually age an awful lot, but it feels like base game hairstyles just absolutely do not fit The Sims 4 right now. And this would have been a really good thing to maybe promote The Sims being free, being like, hey, look, it's now free to play. You can download it on any platform, although console controls are still absolutely messed up, but that's a whole different issue altogether for another video. Be like, yeah, the game is free, and also we went back, we looked at the hairstyles, we updated textures, and it actually feels like it is a game that belongs in 2023. And of course, when we're talking about hairstyles in The Sims 4, it would be remiss of me. I honestly feel like I would get crucified if I didn't talk about this, and that is the fact that people obviously would love a color wheel in The Sims 4 for hairstyles. And right now we just have these like swatches, we have these color pickers. In The Sims 3 you used to have a color wheel. It gave you about 4 different options to work with within the hair itself, from the root to the main bulk of the hair to the tips. You could customize them fully, whereas in The Sims 4 it's like you get what you're given. And recently we did get some blondes updated, which was really nice. We also got a couple of browns within the game, and whilst the blondes felt super necessary and it's always nice to get more colors, it really just feels like others are completely lacking, especially the ginger hairstyles for me, and also the unnatural hairstyles. Like, we're in 2023, we are gamers first and foremost. I just feel like we could have so many more cool hairstyles, and a color wheel, I don't think it's ever gonna happen, but I know I would get called out if I didn't include it in this video. Not gonna lie, I would also really love a color wheel for eyes. Obviously, I have a fair amount of custom content eyes within my game, and that's because I much prefer them over the EA default. Sometimes the Sims just feel glassy. Like, they feel as if they have absolutely nothing behind the eyes when you're using the defaults. I feel like whilst we're talking about eyes, I should keep my eyes on this Sim and continue the conversation. Just, okay. That was an awful, awful take. I really want updated eyelashes. As you can tell, once again, custom content is saving my butt. Love the way that they look. I apply them to every sim. Although I will say I have the version that then allows me to not add rings, which is very unfortunate because I love wearing rings and I really want my Sims to be able to wear rings. I think there is a version that actually allows you to do that, so I should probably download that. But do you just see how much better that Sim looks with eyelashes? And some people might say these don't really look Maxis match, they're a little bit alpha-y. I definitely think they could do eyelashes in a way that actually look a little bit more Maxis match. I still have the Maxis version. Some people choose to remove these thick black lines. This isn't makeup, by the way. That's the way the eyelashes look in The Sims 4 on some eyes specifically. Others don't have eyelashes that big, so that kind of changes the custom ones and how they look. But I personally think there is so much that could be done with eyelashes, and I'm shocked that there aren't any in the game yet. Heterochromia. Like, imagine having one blue eye, one brown eye. I am again shocked that that isn't in the game. It feels like something that people have asked for so repeatedly, and it also, I say this all the time, I know nothing about game development, and when I say these things, it's kind of like in jest, I suppose, or just like me being like, I feel like it wouldn't be that difficult because maybe it would just be like a filter that you add. Obviously, when it comes to like matching eyebrow color, we already have this option to like tick whether you want it to match the hair or not, and it will default to the hair that you've chosen and then change the eyebrows if you're using Maxis eyebrows. And I feel like you could maybe apply that same tick box to eyes to be like, okay, maybe you could just have a left or right and you could click it or unclick it. We obviously have this for cats and dogs. The fact that cats and dogs get more access to things in the game than I feel like humans ever will is so funny to me. This next one is something that I have personally noticed annoys me to no end when I'm making over Sims, and it might be because I'm putting my whole plum bussy into my townie makeovers. I'm actually using Jess as the example here because I would absolutely love it if you could just copy all of the accessories that you've put on your Sims, for example, watches included, so body accessories, and also head accessories such as piercings, and also makeup is included in this too. Being able to apply all of these accessories to multiple outfits in a category, and then also from category to category. Once again, maybe just a little tick box that says apply to everything, and then as you're going through create a sim, I've manually had to add all of her piercings in, but if I had that ticked, then it would just manually apply them to every single category and every single outfit within that category. I think applying it to everything and then going through and removing it feels a lot easier to me as a player than having to add it to every single one. I think it's because you could basically just go to the accessory section, click exit on that, and that would just remove everything. If I forget at any point, I have to go through every single category, every single outfit, and apply all of those things to my sim all over again. And I'm a person who absolutely loves decking my Sims out in accessories. There is actually a little trick that you can do. So once you've actually created one outfit, you can then, if you're adding multiple, you can just copy that outfit and it will actually copy over the makeup. It will copy over any accessory that your Sim has on, and therefore you can start like editing them. You can remove them if you want to, but that only exists for the category that you're currently under. So that would apply for every single everyday wear that you have. Whereas if I go to athletic where she doesn't have any, it would just like copy what she currently has on in that moment. And speaking of just being able to have the freedom to save things, I personally would really, really love it if you could save a specific outfit. This might not be to everyone's taste. Some people might be like, why would you ever just want to save a specific outfit? Like, how frequently are you gonna be dressing Sims in the exact same outfit? But the thing is, sometimes I'll be in like her everyday wear and I'll create a really cute fit and I'm like, oh, you know what? I absolutely love this, but I'm actually not really feeling it for her everyday wear. And I actually want to instead make this maybe a hot weather fit. It happens more often than you think in my brain. I'm jumping here, there, and everywhere when I'm creating my Sims. And obviously, we already have the category for styled looks. Raise your hand in the comments if you use styled looks. Like, I want to know how many people actually hop into this. I basically only go through this for my creator sim overviews, and then I fully forget that styled looks are a thing because I want to style my Sims. The Sims is my Barbie game. I want to dress them up how I want to dress them up, and I don't really pay attention to styled looks. I kind of get it if you're not into fashion as much and you just want something super easy, and you can just click on this and be like, yeah, you know what? I agree with that. I quite like it. It suits my Sim style. Let's give her that. But I think if you saved a styled look, it could pop up here and then you could just cycle through your own styled looks, because sometimes I do want my Sims to have similar styles, and then I'm thinking, okay, I can apply this to another Sim, but then maybe I want to change the top up a little bit, so I can just go boom. I feel like this is definitely one that is more personalized to me, so you might not agree with that. You might not find it super helpful for that to ever be an option in Create a Sim, but it was real to me. And kind of on the same gist of that, this kind of looks like it could be an icon, but instead of maybe having stars around it, it would have love hearts, and it could just be below styled looks, and that would be a favorites tab. It would save me so much time, energy. It would give my eyes a break because I, for one, really love this blazer. I actually do use it on a fair few of my Sims. Imagine if instead of just having the X, or maybe we could have it down here. I'm trying to think like UI realistically, where would it go? Or maybe we could right click on it, even though I don't think there's a right click function in Create a Sim. And we could say add to favorites tab. And then next to styled looks, we just have a favorites. You open it up and basically everything that you've tagged as a favorite, which to be fair, you could even do it through the tagging system. So they just have like a little drop down under here that just says favorite. You hit that and then that will literally list all of your favorites. Oh, I'm literally getting so excited just thinking about that. That could be a feature of build and buy mode as well. So, you know, Sims team, 2 birds, 1 stone. I'm here for the Create Simmers and the builders. But I do think that Create a Sim deserves its time to be loved. It feels like the middle child that gets fully ignored. They said, oh, you want a favorite tab in Create a Sim? Too bad Create a Sim's not our favorite child. My next one is absolutely a popular opinion. I've seen this so many times from so many different Simmers, but it's just being able to actually paint on a Sim. For skin details, for whatever it may be. We have it for werewolves. Again, we have it for cats and dogs. Did you really need that attention on you? Paint mode. There we go. We obviously have all of these options. We recently got birthmarks in the game, which to be fair, if we had the painting tool, I always think that's a slider, but it's not. You just click where you want it. We genuinely could have had birthmarks in the game about 7 years ago if they just gave us a painting tool. Look, this Sim looks like he has a birthmark. I could go up to his face. I could get this one. I could turn the size down really low. Obviously, he has black fur, but then even lower than that, I just go boop, 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 boop. He has freckles. And don't get me wrong, I quite like having the option to already have pre-made moles, freckles, all of that. I just always feel like we need more of them when it comes to skin details in The Sims 4. And I really feel like a free paint mode would, one, allow Simmers to like customize their Sims and actually get so much more representation out of this game. This is a powerful tool. I don't know if it will ever happen. I do think there there are some issues when it comes to that, because obviously you already have like makeup in the game, so how would the paint like interact with makeup? So I can kind of see why there are restrictions on it, and I won't be shocked if we never ever get this as an option in The Sims 4. I think that we could change up tattoos without actually even having that option, and it would be free movement of tattoos. Why are you not getting undressed for me here? Have I broken my creator sim? I think I broke creator sim. Isn't surprising. I know how to break games. Say for example, I wanted this really cute little flower design here that came with Discover University, but I'm like, you know what? I actually really like the tattoo that she had on, but I wish I could have this one elsewhere on her body. I think in The Sims 3, you could move around tattoos a little bit, or you could at least scale them, so you could kind of make them bigger to be like more of a wraparound. Imagine being able to drag this on your Sim's body. Obviously it's just messing with her arm sliders right now, and just being able to be like, yeah, I'm liking this, but I don't really like it here, so let's grab it and we'll move it onto this left hip instead. We'll add a little bit of a rotation on it so it goes sideways, and then you can make it bigger, you could make it smaller. We don't actually even have the option in The Sims 4 to make them more translucent or not, like maybe a faded tattoo. Imagine being able to take this sleeve, be like, I don't really want this on my arm, but on my leg that would look sick. This is something that I can't actually even show you how it works in build and buy mode, because RIP me, I actually got a really cute little tiny keyboard and I love her very much. She's adorable. She's plant themed. But unfortunately, having a very small cute footprint of a keyboard means that I don't have a plus and minus button on my numpad, and the normal plus and minus buttons don't actually work for this. But you know how in build mode, if you do have a bigger keyboard than me, you can hit plus and minus to actually click through swatches really quickly? Little hack in case you didn't know that. I feel like there are definitely some creator sim assets that have really cool swatches that I never ever get to see because I can't be bothered to like flick through them all. Don't get me wrong, I think it's quite nice that it changes, and I do think that is also quick, but I think people who are used to building would get much more use out of it. Is if you hit this and then you hit plus and minus, it could just take you through every single swatch actually on the sim, so you weren't just looking at thumbnails, but you could actually see the bigger picture of how it actually looked on your sim with their skin tone, for example, things like that. You can't get that detail from just seeing it on a little thumbnail. We all know this. We've all given our feedback every single time we've got a brand new kit for The Sims 4, especially when it comes to create a sim, but the fact that they are all just stuffed into one single tag is infuriating. The icons clearly aren't the easiest things to see in the world. They don't remind me of what the kits were called. Obviously, this just needs to be filtered for making it easier to find what you are looking for, and I still don't know why they haven't done it yet. You might have also noticed, you little eagle-eyed viewers over there, that my creator sim might look a little bit different to yours. I get people asking me all the time, how do you get your creator sim to have 5 columns? The default is only 2, and when you actually only have 2 columns, if you are trying to scroll through everything, look at me, I have 5 columns and this is still so long because of the amount of custom content I have. But even when you don't have custom content installed, 2 columns is not great because you have to scroll so far to see different things. And also, people are having like bigger and bigger monitors every single year. Once again, we are gamers. Don't listen to those people who tell you don't play games if you play The Sims. You absolutely do. I bet you have more hours in The Sims 4 than they have in any game that they've ever played in their library. I just don't know why this isn't an option in the option settings. And even when I'm creating a pet, I really run into some issues. I think it's because they have to obviously have a wider frame for the animal than they do Sims, so therefore this may be moved over a little bit, which then moves UI over a little bit. But obviously in-game options already under accessibility, we have the UI scaling. So if I actually go back to a normal UI, it still fits. I just have my UI very big, but just have it as an option. Be like, hey, if you add this many columns and you have your UI scaling set to this, you may actually run into some issues in Create a Sim where some things are cut off. Are you sure you want to confirm that you want to do this? Hit yes, and boom, you have more options. Up to 5 would be great. This mod is perfect. It's by Weirbizu. It's called the More Columns mod. I will link it down below. There is a version for 3 columns, 4 columns, 5 columns. Sorry to those of you who can't download mods and custom content. Personally, one that I've never really seen a lot of people talk about, but it really, really irritates me, is when you go into accessories. Obviously, we've started getting a lot more facial piercings in The Sims 4. Those never really used to be a thing. And some of them actually have the option to be able to have double. You can actually take one off and then you just have a single piercing on one side. But some of the older stuff that we actually have within the game, so let's take this shard earring because I use it an awful lot of the time. It's actually only available on the right hand of my sim. Whereas sometimes I want this to be on this ear, but I don't have the option like I did with these piercings to have it on both sides. I would love it if, I don't know how this would work, maybe a tick box again. I don't really like the fact that there are double ups in Create a Sim. I think it makes Create a Sim look a little bit messy, but I understand why they did it because you can have both on at the same time. It's not just like one or the other. Maybe just going back and adding that option to accessories that currently can only fit on one side, and just being able to do that basically for all earrings. So even the doubles that we have, being able to maybe only put it on one or put it on the other. I know that most people would choose to go for a pair, but maybe you want uneven earrings, maybe you want a non-matching pair. There's a lot of different things that you could do with it. And finally, I will hold my hands up and say I don't really know how the game works when it comes to certain types of things. Obviously, when you send your sim into work, they will get changed into a work outfit. Sometimes they feel really, really random. Sometimes you're like, that does not relate to your career whatsoever. Like, why are you wearing that? Other times it'll be like, okay, this like slightly relates. Like, I see the vision, but I personally would change it a little bit. I actually have everything unlocked right now in my Create a Sim, which I did do a forbidden Create a Sim video like a year ago now, which I'll link in like the corner up there of how you can actually access these. You just have to download a sim off the gallery who has the Create a Sim unlocks. But for example, Jess obviously works in the military career, so it's very likely that she's probably going to go to work in this, which for the military career, I don't mind. But if those ever do get messed up, it feels really weird. Like one day she could be wearing this to work and I'm just like, that feels like a randomly generated outfit. I don't know if you can actually edit them. I think there is a cheat that actually allows you to edit the way that your Sims career looks work, or maybe that was the Sims 3 and maybe I'm misremembering. But I would love it that once your sim actually got a job, it actually unlocked a new category within Create a Sim called career, and you could have up to 5, like you can in any other category, to be able to choose what your sim actually wears to work. I still wouldn't mind it if things were unlocked as you progress throughout your career. And realistically, I feel like you don't get to use that stuff that much because it's very tied to the career and you don't obviously see your sim whilst they're at work. And when they get back home from work, you're like, I don't really want you chilling in your work gear, you know? But I think I would have them chill in their work gear if I personally could customize it. And there we have it. That is everything that I would love to see in a Create a Sim overhaul. Like I said, I really do feel as if it is the forgotten child of The Sims 4. Apart from actually being able to like add more representation onto your sim, which again, I'm not knocking that. That is super important. I'm really glad that the gender changes came. I'm really glad that we have the options for pronouns if you play in English. But I think the quality of life and the way that Create a Sim as a tool in the game flows definitely could have a lot of work done on it. And also when it comes to genders, making clothes that actually look better on both genders as well. I think that's something that the team have been trying to focus on recently. It feels certainly within the kits, which that is something I will always give to the team when it comes to kits. They actually do work a lot better on both frames than a lot of other clothes than we have. Clothes work really, really strangely on frames. I think if if they could come up with something that allows them to work better on both frames, it would be incredible. Maybe even going back over past packs and being like, hey, how can we like gender neutrify this? Even if we add like a third option onto clothing that fits both frames a little bit better. Obviously, some of these are things that I've seen the whole community talk about like very, very frequently. Some of these are just personal pet peeves of mine, so I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Obviously, Create a Sim is one of those tools that I feel could have so much done to it to make every single player's experience feel better. So I would honestly love to hear your thoughts down below. If there's anything that I may have missed in this video that I may have mentioned in the past, if there's anything that you can think of personally that frustrates you within Create a Sim that you would love to see as a quality of life update, please do not hesitate to leave them in the comments down below. It's why I absolutely love recording these types of videos. I love when we can have a massive discussion about these types of things that would just make our games better. I feel like I haven't done it too much recently, where I just sit down, discuss the game, discuss my thoughts, opinions, feelings, all of that. If there are any other topics that you would like me to cover in a sit down video like this, please also do not hesitate to let me know down in the comments, because it would help out a bunch. I appreciate you all. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and I will speak to you all in my next one. Bye now.